Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and a very warm welcome back to the Arabic in 60 Steps YouTube channel. I've missed you guys dearly. I know it's been a long time since I've put out any videos. We have had a really big move with my family and everything. Obviously, as you can see, we're in a new environment. The office is looking a bit ropey. The acoustics are probably awful in the new office because we haven't got any soundproofing or anything yet, but I thought enough is enough. It's been long enough that we haven't continued with the series of Layla with Dhib, or Layla and the Wolf, aka Little Red Riding Hood. And I thought it was about time that we put out episode 10. So we will continue this from now, inshallah. Every single Friday we'll continue with these episodes. And I'd like to thank you all very much for your patience. So we have some announcements, but maybe we'll do that at the end, just so we can get straight into the meat of the actual lesson that you guys want to do. So let's continue with it, inshallah. As requested by the students, we will read through the whole thing. Very nice. So let's go from تودد. تودد إليها الذئب وأخذ يتحدث معها ليعرف أخبارها. سألها: أين أنت ذاهبة؟ قالت له ليلى: أنا ذاهبة إلى جدتي لأقدم لها كعك العيد. سألها الذئب الماكر: أين تسكن جدتك؟ قالت له: تسكن في آخر الطريق وراء الطاحونة البيضاء. قال الذئب: هل هي في منزلها وحدها؟ قالت ليلى: إنها تقيم مع ابنها خالي. قال الذئب: هل خالك عندها الآن؟ قالت له: إنه طول النهار يعمل في الطاحونة البيضاء. قال الذئب: هل جدتك تربي الأفراخ والديوك والبطة والوزة؟ قالت ليلى: لما زرتها آخر المرة وجدت عندها دواجن كثيرة. قال الذئب: وهل عند جدتك كلاب؟ قالت ليلى: جدتي لا تقتني أي كلب. قال الذئب: أنا أكره الكلاب وهي تكرهني. سكت الذئب ثم قال: اقطفي الزهور على مهلك وأنا سأتركك وحدك. اعذريني لأني مشغول بشيء مهم. Very nice. So, as you can see, we have a big dialogue. We have قال ليلى and قال الذئب. So we'll go through one of those things at a time, inshallah. So, let's begin. We have the verb تودد. تودد is a verb which is usually used with a preposition, with the preposition إلى with it, which means to kind of woo somebody, to sort of sweet talk somebody. تودد إلى شخص, to woo a person, right? To woo somebody. So he wooed her. The ذئب wooed her. تودد is a form 5 verb. He wooed her. وأخذ يتحدث, and he أخذ. The verb أخذ really means to take something. It's used just like the verb to take, like we do in English. And I've actually heard it used in sort of football, when like kids are playing football. If you tell someone to take the ball, خذ, use the imperative خذ. But anyway, أخذ, if we put this before another verb, it's like saying he started to do something. So if we say أخذ يتحدث, it means he started to talk. Okay, he started to talk to her, started to speak with her. But أخذ in and of itself doesn't really mean to start doing something, but when it's before a present tense verb like that, that's the meaning. We actually have 2 examples of form 5 verbs in that one sentence as well. تودد and يتحدث. Very nice. So he started to talk with her. Why? ليعرف أخبارها. ليعرف, to know. The verb عرف, present tense يعرف, and in this case it's يعرف because of the لي before it. لي meaning to know, or in order to know. أخبارها, to know her أخبار. أخبار is the plural of خبر, which means news. Akhbar means your news, but it's used in Arabic to mean like just what's going on. I mean, like kind of how like in English we might say to someone like, what's new with you, or something like that. What's your news? Arabic uses that a lot, even in its greetings, and particularly in Palestine I heard lots of people use Shu akhbarak, like what's your news, as a way of saying like, what's up, how are you? Good. Anyway, but the wolf is doing this to know her news, know her affairs. Very nice. سألها, he asked her. أين أنت ذاهبة? Where you going? Where you going? So this might read nicer with the preposition إلى before it. إلى أين أنت ذاهبة? To where are you going? But you don't need that necessarily. Just in questions where it's specifically to do with a direction or a destination, it's nice to say إلى, but you don't need it though. So yeah, the wolf has decided to ask this question with an active participle. He could have just said أين تذهبين, but where are you going? But he didn't. He said إلى أين or أين أنت ذاهبة. Where are you a goer? There's actually no verb in this sentence. There's just where you a goer, but a goer in the feminine because of the tat model on the end. Very nice. So let's move down to the third line. قالت له ليلى. So Layla said to him, أنا ذاهبة إلى جدتي. I am going to my جدة. I'm going to my grandmother. لأقدم لها كعك العيد. To present to her. We've seen all of these words actually already in this series, but yeah, the verb قدم in the form to, meaning to present something or put something forward. To present to her كعك العيد. To present to her a cake for Eid, a Eid cake, a party cake or whatever. سألها الذئب الماكر. The cunning wolf. ماكر means planning or plotting, but yeah, the planning or scheming wolf. أين تسكن جدتك? Where does your جدة, where does your grandmother تسكن? Where does she live? From the verb سكن يسكن, meaning to live somewhere. قالت له. She said to him, تسكن في آخر الطريق. She lives في آخر الطريق. She lives at the end of the طريق, at the end of the way, at the end of the road. وراء. وراء is a preposition which means behind. وراء طاحونة البيضاء. After the طاحون is the windmill, is the mill, right? They lives behind a white windmill, the طاحون. Very nice. We've seen that a few times actually. It actually, I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video. It feels like ages ago since we did one, which is probably why. But it does share its root words with the food tahini, which is like sesame paste. Maybe because it's been crushed or something. I don't know how it's made. But anyway, the white windmill is where she lives behind. قال الذئب. So the ذئب then said, هل هي في منزلها وحدها? Is she in her منزل? Or, yes, is she in her منزل? Because it's منزلها. Is she in her منزل? Which means her house. وحدها. Is she on her wands or alone? Right. The term واحد. When you say the number واحد, it's with an alif after the waw, right? واحد. But when you say واحد, you're talking about someone's aloneness, that they are alone in that. When we use that term with Allah as well, we say Alhamdulillahi wahdah or Alhamdulillahi wahdahu. Praise is due to Allah wahdahu, alone, right? Yeah, like that, in His oneness. Yes. But what the wolf is asking is she there alone, basically? Or if we were to do a crude word-for-word translation, it would be, is she in her house? Her alone. Good. قالت ليلى. So Layla said, إنها تقيم مع ابنها. Is she تقيم? She stays, right? The verb أقام يقيم is to live somewhere, basically. It has its origins in the word قام يقوم, meaning to stand up. But yeah, it's an expression used to be resident somewhere. With ibniha, or we read it ma'abniha because it's a hamzat wasl, that alif before it. So we carry on the fatha from the ma'abniha, with her ibn, with her son. Khali, my khal, okay, my uncle. قال الذئب. The wolf said back to her. He said, هل خالك عندها الآن? Is your khal, is your uncle عندها الآن? So عند, we learn the word عند usually to mean having something. عندي قلم, I have a pen. عندي whatever your age, سنوات or سنة, I have this number of years. It's used for your age and things like that. But in its origin, it means with something. That's perhaps its most true translation, the word عند. I mean, it would have read exactly the same if the wolf had said هل خالك معها الآن? Is your uncle with her now? But for variety perhaps the author chose that the wolf would say عندها الآن. Is your uncle with her now? Good. Next, قالت له rather. She said to him, إنه طول النهار. إن meaning indeed, indeed he, طول النهار. طول and then something afterwards is a way of saying the length of something. طول عمري, like my whole life. If you say طول عمري, طول النهار, all day, right? The length of the day. Obviously sharing its root letters with the word طويل, meaning tall. The length or long. The length of the day, like as in all day. He's doing what? يعمل في الطاحونة البيضاء. He is all day. He is يعمل. He is working in the white windmill. Good. قال الذئب. The ذئب said, هل جدتك تربي الأفراخ? Good. Does your grandmother تربي? It means to raise, the verb ربى, تربي, and it does share its root words with the term تربية. When you give your children like upbringing, تربية, it does share its root letters with that, and with the word رب, meaning Lord. So good. Okay, but that's a topic for another day. أفراخ, very good. So أفراخ, we're naming different types of animals here. So الأفراخ, the أفراخ are the chickens, right? الديوك are perhaps the, like cockerels, right? الديوك. البطة are the ducks, and the وزة are geese. Have I got that right? ديوك. Maybe ديوك are no, maybe they're turkeys or something, but maybe they're turkeys. Anyway, they're all different types of poultry, right? And the reason why I stumble over them a little bit is because in various Arabic dialects they actually mean different things, like the term dajaj is actually used for chicken, but I think the Egyptians like the term فرخ instead of dajaj. But I think the term afrakh actually means a chick, I think, originally. But anyway, we're naming different types of poultry. قالت ليلى لما زرتها آخر مرة. When I visited her last time. آخر مرة. When I visited her last time. وجدت عندها. I found with her دواجن. Okay, very nice. دواجن. Dawajin means poultry, right? Different, but it's a plural, right? It's a plural for different types of poultry. دواجن كثيرة. I found lots of different types of poultry. Loads of edible birds there for the ذئب that the ذئب would be interested in. قال الذئب وهل عند جدتك كلاب. Are there kilab with your جدة? Are there kilab? Kilab is the plural of kalb, which means dog. So are there dogs? Does she have dogs? قالت ليلى جدتي لا تقتني أي كلب. لا تقتني. The term تقتني from the verb اقتنى. I think there is actually a form 1. قنا يقنو, actually, but it means to acquire something. But I mean in this case it really just means to own, right? She doesn't own. أي, any, كلب, any dog. She doesn't own any dog. Good. قال الذئب. The ذئب said, أنا أكره الكلاب. I hate dogs. I hate the dogs. From the verb كره يكره. أنا أكره. I hate كلاب. I hate the dog. I hate the dogs. وهي تكرهني. And literally it's and she hates me as well. The using the wolf isn't personifying the dogs here, because the wolf is using grammar insinuating that the dogs are inanimate plurals, right? Because in Arabic we have this rule where we treat non-human or inanimate plurals as feminine singular. So for example, when we talk about houses or cars or or phones or laptops or clothes, when we talk about them in the plural, because they're not humans, we use feminine singular. So we would use feminine singular adjectives like jamilatun if we're saying they're beautiful, or in this case we would use a feminine singular pronoun like hiya, and conjugate the verbs in the feminine singular like takrahu. But in this case, takrahuni, they hate me, or in terms of grammar, she hates me, but in English we call dogs they. Good. وسكتت. وسكت, not سكتت. وسكت. The verb سكت means to go silent. الذئب. The ذئب went silent. Good. ثم قال اقطف الزهور. And then the wolf said, pluck the flowers. Pluck the flowers. على مهلك. The expression على مهلك is sort of in your own time, or do it slowly. على مهلك. Good. Very nice. أنا سأتركك. I will leave you. So there's a few things going on in this little package. سأتركك. So we have sa at the beginning, which is future. أترك from the verb taraka يترك. So will I leave ki. I will leave you. I will leave you. And there's a full stop. أعذريني. أعذريني. Very nice. So أعذر. أعذر means to excuse, right? A عذر is actually an excuse. There's a nice expression that I like in Arabic, which is العذر أقبح من الذنب. My Arabic teacher at university used to say this all the time when people had excuses for not doing their homework or being late and things like this. He would say العذر أقبح من الذنب, that the عذر, the excuse, is أقبح, is uglier than the sin itself. So for example, we'd have someone come in, they've not done their homework or whatever, and their excuse would be, I was at the club last night. Not in Palestine, it's like in London, right? It'd be like, I was at the club and I was at home with my mates and we played FIFA till 2 o'clock in the morning, then I fell asleep. And that's why he was late and didn't do the homework. And he'd say, it would have been better for you to have just said that you didn't do the homework. But your excuse was even more ugly than the sin. So العذر أقبح من الذنب. Very nice. Yeah, أقبح means uglier. قبيح is the actual noun, meaning ugly. You can say to someone, أنت أقبح من حتى. It's an expression for saying you're buzz guy. you're ugly. Yeah, you're uglier than until. أنت أقبح من حتى. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, أعذريني. So this is an imperative. أعذر, excuse. Because it's in the feminine. He's saying أعذري, excuse ni. أعذريني, excuse me. Okay. أعذريني لأني, because I am مشغول بشيء مهم. Because I am مشغول. Hence the term شغل means work, but مشغول means busy. I am busy بشيء مهم, with an important thing. A shay means a thing, and muhim is a very useful word, just meaning important. We use it just like we do in English, muhim, and it can even be used in Arabic as a way of saying, anyway. You say al-muhim. You might go on a tangent, like I sometimes do, talking about people being a buzz guy or someone playing FIFA and not doing their homework. You go on a tangent and they say al-muhim. But the important thing is this. It's like in English saying anyway. Very nice, that's everything. That's everything for this particular lesson. We will continue these series going forward. But before we end, I do have a few announcements, inshallah. So the first one, the most important one, is Arabic in 60 Steps Intensive is taking new students now. So we're running another program from October, which is in 2 weeks. We'll start after 2 weeks, inshallah. We're doing an intensive program. Well, I'm teaching the entire Arabic in 60 Steps program myself. We're doing live lessons with you guys who join. There's a class of only 8 to 10 students, inshallah, maybe fewer. There's a few things to sort out with time zones and stuff. We'll see who's interested and who joins, and then we'll figure out the class times. Some of you guys might have smaller class sizes, because last time we ran it, we kind of put people in groups based on their time zones, and that was a good way of doing it. But anyway, so we'll do about 4 hours a week of contact time. Probably here where I live now, our weekend is... So we're likely to do our sessions on Saturdays, Mondays and Wednesdays. Maybe 2 hours on a Saturday morning, and then 1 hour on a Monday and a Wednesday evenings, inshallah. So that's probably how we'll do it. But the objective is for all of you to graduate the program in January, inshallah. So it's 4 months, give or take. So some of you might finish earlier, but we'll see how that goes. And that's it. Really, it's me delivering the program myself to you. And that's it. You can find out more. I'll put the link in the description section below. If you guys are listening on the podcast, you can go to arabic60steps.com/intensive. Put intensive all in capitals to make sure you get to the right place. That's arabic60steps.com/intensive. And it will be in the show notes as well and in the description below as well for you guys on YouTube. So good. So that's the intensive program running from October to January. That's 4 months, October, November, December, January. That's the main one, and then also we will be starting our membership soon as well. I've been talking about this for ages, but inshallah before the end of the month we'll start memberships. If you want to be a super talib, if you want to be a super student on this YouTube channel, then there'll be a membership option for £1.99 a month, and for you guys there'll be some exclusive content for you as well. And what we're doing that for is to save up for some soundproofing, some lighting, a better microphone, other equipment that we need for running the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So it's an absolutely massive help. Yeah, for any of you guys who would like to support the YouTube channel and get a little bit more out of me as well every month as well, that'll be £1.99 a month. And that's it. See you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.